Fingertips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down. Yeah.
Well, Mia, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here.
It's an honor.
Oh, I don't know if it's an honor,
It
but
is.
it certainly
It's
it's a treat
absolutely
to
an
meet you,
honor.
and I appreciate you taking time coming in here.
Well, thank you. You have a beautiful spot, and you're a beautiful person. It's great to be here. And all
Well,
the
thank
people
you.
that have come here that I've seen on your show, it's super, super inspiring. So
Well, good.
I'm
We're
honored.
having fun. Thank you. We're having fun, and you brought some friends. You either brought some brothers or some friends,
I
or
brought
maybe
both.
you might have found these guys out on the street on Fifth
They
Avenue.
were strangers at
Right
first.
out there.
And then
They were asking for muffins or something.
I had it. Like, can we have one? I was like, I guess.
We got what
I
we
help
demanded.
anybody, so.
So who do we got?
So I have Kyle and I have RJ. Introduce yourselves with the last names there. Go ahead.
Hello, my name's Kyle. Last name Harrell, and I'm a producer, artist, songwriter, and yeah,
My producer. Sorry, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, my name's RJ Bertera. Same thing, songwriter, artist, producer, and honestly, just it's an honor and privilege to be here, and it's an honor and privilege to work with Mia. I just want to get that out there.
Oh, thanks.
I forgot to say that. I was going to say that first.
Well, I took it.
Well, do it again. No.
We kind of like fawned all over each other. Now we can get down to the nuts and bolts of things. These guys comprise the Pittsburgh band Dead Man Switch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have to say that because they obviously forgot to do that.
Sorry, Eric. Yeah, I guess you guys wouldn't know what group we're with. But yeah, Dead Man Switch. This is Wyatt Earp. I'm Glock Holiday, and we're two parts of the rock rap alternative group, I guess you could call it. And we're trying to bring some good music back to the area now. So we're taking over.
Yeah,
Right on. That's what I want to hear for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
And you folks are here because you have collaborated with Mia.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk a little about that.
Yeah. So I basically, I didn't know them. I knew of them. And then Kyle had stayed in touch with me just on social media. And then it
For a
was
year
like-
straight.
Probably more than a year. Okay, I'm sorry.
I tried to get coffee
it was
for a year
You're
straight.
right. You're right. And we finally get coffee every Sunday now. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
a
Well,
done
back
deal.
up. What's the story there? Coffee. What are you talking about?
We're at the gas station. Her name's Denise, and she works at the Honey Bear. So they always go there for their coffee. I go there. My sister works right beside there. She would go there. So we all met at this gas station and we all got to know her. They're like,
Yeah, and I used to work at that gas station like 2 years ago, and Denise is the manager, and she was like, hey, you got to link up with Mia. And then every time Mia came in, she's like, hey, you got to link up with RJ and Cal. And,
every single time. And I was like, I really got to believe this woman because she has brought it up faithfully every time I come to just get coffee. So she gave me those CDs. There was posters up of them, and I was like, I got to just meet these guys.
Okay.
They
So the gas station was the
gas
conduit.
station.
The honey bear. Yeah.
The honey
The
bear.
Honey Bear wasn't there.
24 hours.
This wouldn't have happened.
Probably
absolutely
not.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
no store has ever been that convenient, ever.
Yeah.
The most convenient store.
Now, the really cool thing I think about me and us is that we actually, link through that story, but have a real respect for each other's art. So I really respect and appreciate Mia's work before us, and I think she does too as well for us. So now that we have a chance to work together, it's just like for me and Kyle, and I'm not going to speak for me on this, but for us, it's like almost like a dream come true in a sense that
It definitely is.
we always wanted an opportunity to work with a really quality artist and someone that took the art seriously. And I think a lot of people, they want to get famous quick or they, whatever it may be. But with me, it's not like that. We're here for the long haul, and we want to try and bring something that people can be proud of and can relate to. You know,
And pave the way for who's next.
Yeah,
You know,
For sure.
we got to go through all the motions, and then we can help whoever's next.
Off camera, you were talking a little bit about singles versus albums, and
Yeah.
you said when you started to work with these two characters over here that they were rather insistent upon putting a body of work
Yeah,
together
they were
for
like,
you.
there was no other way around it. They're like, no,
Yeah,
we're gonna make
yeah.
you a body of work. I was
See, I
like,
dig that.
all right, no
Yeah.
singles. They're like, no,
'Cause-
it's a body of work. It's albums. I mean, they did that. They're
Yeah.
they were religious with that, and they have many albums. So I was like, wow, this is 2020, and we're gonna make an album.
Right.
So
Right,
they
right.
pushed me to do that
Right.
with their help and their writing and their skills and their studio and their lyrics. So it was just like a dream come true for me to find that and right a mile from my road, from my house, a mile down the road. So just to be in that space, to know that it exists here, because I was traveling so many other places to find it, and I did, but nothing like I've experienced with them, right in my hometown. So
why are you so adamant about a body of work, an album, an EP, an LP, that format as opposed to what the trend has been, maybe starting with country music about a decade ago, of just releasing singles.
Right, it's definitely against the grain at this point in time. Which
Unfortunately,
it is. And to answer your question, I grew up on albums. And not it's going to be kind of funny, but I grew up on first album I ever got was Smash Mouth, Walking on the Sun, and then the Mighty.
I won't hold that against you.
I had a feeling that wasn't going to be. This isn't some epic.
It's okay.
And then there was the Mighty Boss Stones with The Impression that I get were the first two I got. But honestly, then I got into 45s. With Zeppelin, like we were talking earlier, and Skinner, and just I could go on and on with those names, the Doors. But basically, the big thing for me was just being able to put that on, go someplace for 20, 35 minutes. Experience love, think about all these different capacities of life, and then it's off. I don't know. You can't. How many times can you really listen to a song and it takes you something? I mean, you really can. But I think the bodies of work are really what kind of allow an artist to show you who they are, as what their message is, what their vibe is.
Yeah, and it was funny because I heard a producer recently say the most ridiculous thing to me, and it was, well, we don't encourage albums anymore. There's a marketing reason for it, but also, the days of Pink Floyd and these bands telling a story through an album, no one wants to hear that.
Oh, my.
And my argument would be that you don't need to tell one singular story through an album. I mean, you like it if there's some vibe from song to song, maybe, but ultimately each song can stand on their own, but still give the public more.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's funny you said that, because that's actually what we did with our albums. We're actually doing a Four Horsemen narrative, where each album actually does have its own vibe, its own kind of, I wouldn't say storyline, but its own feel to it, right?
Sure.
And we're trying to connect it all together, where I'm kind of treating it like a 5-act play, if you will, right? So I do want the audience to be able to come together and feel like a rise and fall, a crescendo, a climax, these different things at our shows where you really feel like you're a part of it, right? I'm trying to take this to another level, I think, that really hasn't been tapped into, and I think me is the cornerstone, is the keystone of the whole thing. I think with her skill set, what we could do as far as building her what do you want to say, her resume, I think the sky's the limit. I mean that. So
Thanks.
that's just where we're at.
With you guys.
Yeah, honestly. Because I look at this like a spiritual quest. I really do. I mean, this is a journey for all of us, and so
Amen.
us linking up here now is very important to me. Me telling the story is very important to me. So,
Same.
I'm definitely the old school. I'm the guy after your heart. Where I want.
Hey, be nice.
Well, it's not open to Guinness, but
I'm just kidding.
I just
A
mean
little bit too early for that. Had we done this a night show, that Guinness would be open over there.
I'm just kidding. I just mean in the sense that I want to tell a story. I want you to get to experience something that I grew up on, or that because my family owned the Holiday House. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I heard.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in that nightclub era. You know what I mean? Where there's Frank Sinatra.
That was a nightclub, all right.
Right. So Frank Sinatra's coming down the stairwell. We're getting the Beatles off the plane. It was a crazy. I was probably like 3 for most of this, but my point was I grew up in that era, so I want to kind of bring back that energy, to Pittsburgh, to Pennsylvania, because now it's just, especially with Mac passing, God rest his soul, he was a huge.
Big influence.
Yeah, big influence, but just. Mac's one of those people to me that when I was down in a dark place, a lot of times I'd put on his music and he'd lift me up. Even with his new project, his newest stuff. He just came out with one I think yesterday actually, but the last project, just so many songs on there that have helped me, and just I don't know, just kind of showed me that even you're to go through things in life, that doesn't mean you have to get away from your goals entirely.
So the first time the three of you got into the studio together, tell me a little bit about that.
Good me.
So I went to the Holiday House, like the house, not the where they live.
the new
Holiday
location.
house. So they invited me over, and he has a great dog named Doc. So let's just thank Doc for being a part of this journey as a pit bull. And I love pit bulls, and it was just like a hit. I was like, I like this place. There's a dog here, so we're good.
All right.
So we went there, and actually the song that we just released, The One, is the first session I think we did.
Okay.
We wrote that song, and it was like put on a track, and we were like, let's just create, see what we can do.
Just talk about that song.
So The One was just somebody made the beat, but
Produced by Big Germ.
yes,
Shout out Big Germ.
yes, thank you.
So produced by who?
Big Germ.
Big Germ.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, dude. I got in trouble for calling him sir. So yes, dude.
Big Germ, is that from a movie or something?
Oh, yeah, he's actually familiar he has some buzz in the area just because he actually worked. Did he, true or false? I'll let you take this, but what was his relationship with Mac and ID Labs and EDAN and the whole situation there? How did that?
I think he came in like a couple years in, and he was kind of like, I feel like him and EDAN had like a really great duo going, and like they kind of expanded and built a bigger studio. I honestly don't know too much about the story, but I know those two worked very well together and did a lot for the city in the last 15 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he produced that track. He was the one that.
Okay.
He was one of
Put
my.
the beat
I've always
kinda-
looked up to him, like when I was in high school, and like that was, ID Labs was a studio in Pittsburgh.
Oh, most
that
certainly.
I
Most
was like,
certainly.
oh, I
I'm
would
very
definitely.
familiar.
That's my dream job would be to work there. That was when and as a teenager, and now I'm actually get to work there, get to work with these guys, and it's really been a dream come true. It's
on.
It's really cool.
We actually took what was it? Was it Conquest or was it the Warhorse? Our albums. Which album was it?
We took both
We
to
took
do
both
to get
to
a
have him mastered.
Yeah.
And then so he mastered both those, and then we were there, and I was like, Jeremy, listen, man, do you have any beats? He shopped us his catalog, and I mean, there's just tons of good stuff in there. And
We were tapping into that.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
we-
these are good. We want this.
So
there were 700
German beat,
in the
right?
There
initial
was
pack
700.
that we
Yeah.
initially got, and then we bought 17 of them or so.
he collabed with a couple other producers, but I mean, for the most part, it was his catalog.
There's other Strangers, Danger, my other songs are German beat as well.
Yeah.
So that the Germ was definitely like, I was like, I like this sound, I want this feel, and then we just
Okay.
kind of collabed on it. Me and my mom were sitting there, we were talking about the lyrics, what we want to talk about, feeling the up and down about a relationship. Like somebody keeps you up, somebody puts you really way down. How is that the same person? Well, we're all that person, So we go through those things, but we just sat there and creatively just hit it off, like lyrics and melodies, and telling each other like kind of not what to do but what to do, and
Sure.
it just felt good to get like feedback and to be pushed out of your comfort zone and to come back and do what you want and still get the ability to sing what I want, how I want, with what reverb, with what sound, with what mic. Like I've never had a better sound in a studio than I did with them, and I've
Okay.
traveled everywhere.
Yeah, that's
so
saying a
for
lot.
that to
better
be,
watch out, Callie. Better watch
just
out.
saying, I'm just saying.
There you go.
I mean, I swear to God, like that's important to me. If I don't feel that,
Right.
I'm not interested in music.
Right.
Like if I don't feel it, like when I
Okay.
walk in there.
Okay.
So they have like this cool studio booth. It's like a telephone booth, right? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
And they had these lights, and it was just a vibe, and I could hear, and I could sound good, and I felt warm, and it felt good. I felt
Right.
inspired and positive, and my mom
Right.
was there, and it was like a dream. I was like, this exists in my backyard in the woods. Like I gotta be here. Let's go. This is it. So it was immediately that first experience was like, this is
Backyard in the
This is the
woods.
real deal.
Yeah, it's in the cut.
But it's like right where I live, so it's like people like can't believe that we live like in the woods. But we
Is
look.
that kind of like the same vibe of what I read? It's something about the Apollo Triangle.
That's a different story for a different time.
I don't know if we can tell that one.
Really? Why not?
Apollo's cool.
We're here.
No, a funny story though is that phone booth is actually from the Holiday House. So
wonder
I
why.
Kept it.
carry the whole way from the Holiday House. It was in my basement. And
I've
sitting there-
probably used that phone booth
Yeah,
in the
I
course of my
guarantee-
lifetime.
I guarantee you did. And so I'm sitting there. My mom's like, "What are you doing in that phone booth?" I'm like, "I'm making it a recording studio." She's like, "You cannot. It's worth hundreds of dollars." I'm ripping the phone off. I'm ripping the seat off.
It's
A fun,
perfect.
a fun fact also, it's the one Neo used to get out of the Matrix.
It could be.
Speaking of that, did you see there's a new Matrix movie coming? I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, that's what's up. I'll
That's
definitely check
what I
that
heard.
out. I'll
yeah.
definitely check that
Anyway,
out.
little aside.
I'll definitely check that out.
Cool, cool.
Okay, so the video, I was talking to me a bit off show before the show.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out because I'm old. It takes me a while to catch
It's
up with
okay.
you youngsters.
It's okay. My mom's 60. She was like, "So are you gonna?"
I'm not
I was
60
like,
yet.
My mom's
no, I'm not
60.
Okay. Nothing wrong
She
with being
gets.
60.
She's older, so you have
Nothing
you
wrong with
benefit
being
there.
so. She doesn't look 60. That's if you're out there, Mom,
You look good.
you're doing well. You're doing well.
Keep doing you.
Keep doing you.
She's been
That's
a big
that's a
sport.
thing now,
Yeah.
huh, to say. I'm learning all that. This show has brought me so many hip people. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get the
oh my God,
lingo
I'm
down.
starting to figure it out. Yeah.
Lingo's key.
But okay, so I was trying to catch the vibe
Okay.
of the video, and there was just one moment, and there was hysterical to me where you were sitting on the couch and rolling your eyes at the guitar.
Johnny Ringo.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't-
Shout
and
out
I-
Johnny Ringo.
And I couldn't understand whether I was supposed to be watching this as a serious video or whether there are moments like there's this hidden comedy going on with
Yeah.
it.
Well, I got to tell you, we have about 4 or 5 videos now with Dead Man Switch, and Johnny Ringo's
Kodiak.
Johnny. It gets dark. It gets dark there. Johnny Ringo's our guitarist, and we usually use him as our comic relief. He's kind of like our Steve-O from Jackass, if you will. So we have the one video where he's like running naked through the winter,
The
winter
woods,
time.
yeah.
He's definitely the best at that.
Yeah, he's definitely he's our comic relief. So
We had to give him that role.
It's a special skill to run through the woods naked.
that's what I
right?
mean.
in the winter.
That's what I mean. Anybody
great
can-
video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a lot in his posture when he's running is what really captures it.
Slips. I just watched that too. Me and my mom on New Year's Eve or something. We were like, "Wow, this is a great video."
That's how you spent your New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we watched you guys.
Nice.
It's funny because he's always like, dude, are you really going to make me do this shit again? And I'm like, dude, listen. Because he knows I'm going to him for it. He knows it every
He's
time.
so faithful to it. He doesn't even like question
He
it.
is.
And our other music video we just did, he's pretty comical in that as well.
Yeah,
so
we
he
have-
always gets like a good role. But
Okay. Well, how much material is done for this album? Or is it all done?
For Mia's project?
I have like, what, 6?
Yeah, I'd say six or seven tracks.
Yeah.
And we're basically going to try and get, about 6 or 7 videos, I think it is at this point.
Yeah,
and
we then we have our collaboration videos that are
Right.
pretty much done with Daniel Kelly.
And then obviously there'll be a few more tracks on there that I don't know, probably won't have a video. But the thing is, I'd like to get her a full LP. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't have one. I think she
Right.
deserves one. She's so talented. I mean, the thing is, she goes in the booth, and if I have lyrics, right, she'll have a melody, and that's how we really work. Cal's the engineer. He's the producer. But for the most part, a lot of our stuff works with Cal and I doing a lot of the writing, Mia doing a lot of the writing. But the thing about Mia is she can go in there. If I say the water bottle is blue, the water, you know what I mean? The things she can do with just those 4 words, they're gonna sound harmonious. They're like an angel was saying it.
Because I have good sound. That's why.
That's what you can't. There's no one in the area that can compete with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I can put great lyrics in anybody else's head, but with me, it's like a sword. You know what I mean? It's very very volatile.
She like doesn't miss notes. Like honestly, like we'll have to like redo things. Be like, no, just try the other melody that's in your head. Try that one. It's like there was nothing wrong with that one. I just try the other options in your head that we got.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So we have a nice
It's really
mix.
fun to watch.
The coolest thing about Mia, though, I think we found out is that she can rap. That's what we should talk about. Yeah, what about that, Mia?
Yeah, like I have always like wanted to, and like meeting actual rappers that do it for a living. It's like, okay, like I don't want to like do it in front of them. Like that's nerve wracking because what if
You
like
gonna
I
do a little
can't
freestyle
do
for us
it?
today?
Maybe.
Maybe you should do that remedy.
Yeah. So my newest single coming out though, it will be. They did write a rap for it, and they were like, "Try it," and I was like, "Oh gosh, it took me a couple tries, But for the most part, but I enjoy it.
And now
I do
she's
like
already
that.
better than us. So
No.
You gonna like do a little bit of that?
Right now?
Sure. No time like the present.
Yeah, I have.
Maybe at the end.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
still morning. It's
I'm gonna-
early.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
hold
sing
that.
past now. I'm kidding.
I like
I
that.
don't sing before noon.
I'm gonna use that. I don't rap before or after.
Right before
But
noon.
so yeah, I've opened a lot of different. Like they've let me do that because
Okay.
I felt comfortable enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna rap. Like
Okay.
I'm just gonna do it, and it's in the song.
Well, the one thing I didn't like about what I think the industry was trying to put on Mia a lot of ways was, this is how you do it, right? And for me, it was like, no, Mia, I want you to have what you want. You know what I mean? You have a
Right,
vision and your
right.
own dream, and you're your own artistry.
And I
too.
had that when I was like
Right.
13 with my own band, and then, I got on The Voice and all that stuff happened, and my mom still like pushed me to be original and artist and write originals and do this and do what you want. And then when you work with other people, in different cities or different things, and you get put in that stage in your life where it's like studio session after studio session, you don't have as much input. So when I got to them, I was like, wow, I have all the input I need. Like now I can finally, like I've gained all that. I have it in me. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. I've learned from everybody. I've gained from all the experiences, and now I can finally put it to use, and they let me do it my way.
Right.
If I want to bend that note, let me. So
So
they do.
full creative control.
Respect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Control.
Absolutely.
And an artist should have that. I mean, what's art if it's not authentic, right?
Especially because I was younger, so
Well, and that's the business of music. I don't have to tell you. You experienced a lot of that, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that with you for a second, or both of you. You want to put an album out, and and then you're going to do videos, and everything you're doing is self-created now, which is so different than 20 years and back.
Absolutely.
But I guess it's necessitated by just the downloading, and the money on material is not there. The money on recorded material is just not what it was had you been born in the 80s or
Right.
early 90s.
Exactly.
I ask every artist that comes in here a very direct question. Is music now disposable?
My answer would be yes, but I'm trying to change that. That's where I'm at with it. I think so. The reason I say yes to that question is it's a very good question for the record. I think.
Thank you. That's what I do.
No, that was very good. It was very good
we weren't ready for it now.
Yeah, because there was a point I actually just thought of myself. I was thinking about the other day was that I think all too often music now is not being conveyed to you for the audio quality first, right? So now too often now we're buying music because the girl said, "How about that?" to Dr. Phil, or you know what I mean, or
Right.
or there's some popularity attached to it, right?
Right.
But Mia can make music whether you don't know her at all. You're sitting in a room, your eyes are closed, and you can just hear a sound. That's beautiful, right?
Aw, thanks.
So few people can actually make that and keep it interesting. That's the hardest thing. I always say this. The hardest thing to do in life is be interesting. Because at this point, the way the game changes so rapidly, you know, you could do this and it's frowned upon one day, you do it the next day, and everybody's cheering for you. You see what I'm saying? So with me, it's a skill set. She's just like Hendrix with the guitar. Her voice and Hendrix's guitar are the same exact thing. You can't cultivate that. That's a talent that you and I can't have. You know what I mean? That's what's impressive about it for me.
Okay, and it's purely organic.
You got it.
Yeah,
You got
purely, and the reason indisposable is such a harsh word to use.
It is.
And I don't say that to demean anything.
Life is harsh, though. I feel like it's a good word because at this point in the game, like 2020 music, what does that mean to the world? I don't think we know. I think we just know it's fed to us as music, and we take it, especially my age. We're like, oh, we love this, we love that. But do you? Like, do you actually love that?
How hard do we have to look to find it? Or is it put right in front of our face?
Or do we have to look good to sound good? You know, so it's just, it's been a struggle, not a struggle for me, but I think for other people, because I've grown up with an older mom and a family in music that I didn't have to struggle with that. I knew what music was, and then I had a sister that did like the in-between. So even when I met them, I was like, that's important to find, that old meets new, because to collect both, that's a talent. Like, that's a skill. And that's what keeps it, I think, interesting and meaningful and not disposable, because we have to take back from when your grandparents played the sax and the big band. Like, you gotta keep that alive. We can't let that go, because they're gonna pass away, and we're stuck with 2020 stuff. But,
okay,
you know.
so no, let me make sure I understand this, because what you're stating, I that was my mantra 25 years ago. The guitar, which I always think will be around.
Absolutely.
But it has obviously been de-emphasized, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just giving you an observation.
It's wrong.
It's been
wrong.
De-emphasized. Thank you. It's been de-emphasized over time, but it remains that one instrument besides the voice that seems to be able to carry through regardless of the tastes, vibe, fads, fashion, genre, whatever.
Right.
But as me and I were discussing before the show started, what is your thoughts on the disintegration of musical genres? You know, because very cookie cutter 30 years ago, you go to a record store, soft rock, heavy metal, death metal over here, and then there was rap. Rap became out of R&B, and then there sometimes was a pop section, but you had like 5 or 6 genres. End of story.
Absolutely.
Now, it made it simpler for the consumer, but is it really better now that the genres are being blended and merged and fading away? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I hate to say this or be this guy or come off this way, but I'm going to answer this honestly. I think they have to be due to lack of skill set, and because so much music is being put in front of you, the artists don't have skills. The thing is if we can all sit here and say that me is an amazing singer, then we need to deduce everybody else that is an amazing singer, and we can't. So what I'm saying is, I think a lot of music that might not be top quality is getting sold, getting bought, is getting pushed, getting marketed. Okay,
the digital age.
Exactly. So for me,
auto-tune.
To answer,
there's a lot more than auto-tune.
That's how Ozzy is still out there. Sorry, Oz.
But you know, the thing is, but even Ozzy, you know, I mean, he had a sound. One thing is, as an artist, I think is very hard to do is be unique. You know, you have to have your sound, your niche, your look. You know, how are you going to come off? How do you want people to see you? Right. I think now we're able to blend that so much where it's like, okay, well, that's kind of unique. He's kind of doing a little bit of rock thing, a little bit of rap thing. He's doing a little bit of that, where it's kind of the things that were, you know, the cream, I guess you'll call it back then, are losing their value. That's the best way I could explain that. So the cream isn't getting a chance to rise anymore because it's being so inundated with so much.
It's a different sound.
Garbage,
what's her sound on that
That's
cream?
My thought
it's
on
like,
it.
And I'd like to go off you and say, I think I actually enjoy how there is, you know, there was 5 options maybe back in the day. Now there's 100. I think that comes from people like, all right, well, I don't fit into rock. I don't fit into pop. I'm going to try to create my new thing, or just like do something original that feels right to me.
Right.
And at some point that caught attention or whatever. It's like, okay, now alternative exists because a lot of people had this similar vibe, and we're going to classify that as alternative. And now there's probably 50, 60 different genres on iTunes. And I think it's just because, you know, people get in the studio, they push different boundaries, they try different things, they combine different elements, and it's just the progression of music as a whole.
And I would agree, and I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, I'm not some old stodge over here telling you that, you know, I want things the way they were. I feel bad for your generation in terms of not having the opportunity to earn a clear path.
I don't know what to tell people when they ask me.
Well,
Like, what do you sing? I sometimes ask my mom, like, what do I say? So I was going to ask them recently, because I was like, when people ask, what kind of music do you do?
Well, we're going to get there.
I don't know what to say.
But to finish my thought, I was basically feeling bad because there's not a clear pathway to monetization of your craft.
Oh.
You know, and I know, I get it, but I'm saying there used to be, you know, there used to be a record
labels and things.
Yeah,
you
label
had that,
give you
but
money, and all of a sudden you were out there touring to support your record sales.
Yeah,
and now bands tour to make money because their music's, unfortunately, from a marketing standpoint, is disposable. Yeah, that's what I was getting at with it. You weren't around for the heydays, so I've seen both sides of it, and I feel bad for younger artists. I just do. I guess I have more of
the other side of that, because I'm looking at it where when I write, and I've been a poet for about 15, 20 years now, I don't try to sit there and contaminate the youth or the well, and I think too many artists are doing that. So for me, it is.
What do you mean? Clarify for me.
You know, I could sit here and say, I take fentanyl, Adderall, Manabal, you know what I mean? Do all this drug stuff, right? Okay. If I'm going to mention a drug, it's because it's me to tell you I went to a dark place, I took it, it hurt my life, and I overcame it.
Right.
You can back in the day,
not to glorify it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So when I'm listening to Led Zeppelin, they're not sitting there like, man, like, mama, you know, they're making music from the soul for the soul. Okay, that's the key with them. They're not sitting there trying to say, "Hey, take this drug, you go do that." Like, they're not.
No, Pink Floyd did that.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, Pink Floyd.
I'm kidding.
No, you're right. Well, you're right.
I'm
You're right.
kidding.
You're absolutely right. Pink
Can
Floyd.
we go back to that era, please?
He's absolutely right. I'm all for expanding.
I'm sorry.
I'm all for expanding your consciousness, and I think that's absolutely what we need to do. But my point is there were still some kind of limits in place where you couldn't just come right out and say anything. These days, the wilder you get with whatever you're saying, the quicker it is to sell. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Shock value.
It
I think.
is.
It's like a lot of new comedy too.
Like,
where
listen,
it's like
Sweet Home Alabama is a diss
shock
record.
value.
Okay, let's put it out there. Sweet Home Alabama is the greatest song about, well, supposedly sales wise is a diss record.
There's no question.
Okay, so let's be honest. So
Neil Young won't remember.
This is what music has always been. It's always been conveying an emotion better than anybody else, right? The problem I have with it is now we're not conveying emotions. Now we're actually saying, like, no, let's shut our emotions off. Let's take drugs. Let's sap the well. Let's promote these things that are just going to ruin, today's youth. For what?
Right.
Go.
I was going to go off what you said.
Okay, go ahead.
But you said a lot. But yeah, I think a lot of music now is geared towards material possessions and what you have, not what you have to offer to the world. It's like, here's what I have.
Very well
if you
said.
don't have this, if you don't have like my level of status or the cars I got or the money I got, I look at, like, you're below me. That's the kind of the vibe that I get. And
Welcome
it's like,
to Instagram world.
Right.
Right.
I don't think it's art. I think it is entertainment. But we're just trying to get back to like music and.
Well,
That's the difference,
that imagery that you just said is very prevalent in rap music and hip hop music.
Absolutely.
It just is. Now,
Absolutely.
and again, I'm not
And pop.
stereotyping anything, and pop.
For females,
But most people
especially, if you
usually
don't
because
look
rock
that
is
way.
dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, rock needs resuscitated.
Shine down.
But
It's dormant.
It's dormant right now, right? But in pop music, rap music, hip hop music, and the culture that comes with that, in terms of the movie stars that embrace that, the whole Instagram society, you are correct. It's very brand conscious, money conscious, and money tends to be unfortunately, is thrown out there to a lot of the youth as the currency. Well, it is currency, but it's like Facebook popularity, Instagram popularity is now currency, and it creates like a position where, unfortunately, a lot of young people lust for that brand, that bling,
It's
that
like a need.
that
It's not
image.
even like a want. It's like they need it to feel anything.
Kids are doing photo shoots for Instagram. They'll go like out and like dress up. I mean, they're probably laying in their bed,
Right.
but they'll go through all this makeup and all this stuff, and then they'll go do an Instagram photo shoot somewhere, and
where
then they'll go
they-
back and watch television again,
Public-
trying to create an
public
image
figure.
that really isn't them, right?
Yeah.
But where are they learning that from? The influencers.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
we have a chance to kind of give our own message, and maybe it's not what's popular, but
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
So you're seeing the bigger picture, which is admirable.
hopefully
Which
that's
is
what
why,
we see.
that's why I respect them, because being in my position, I am in that time where I could go dressed up and take a photo shoot with this room. Come on, it's gorgeous. I could look great in it,
Absolutely.
So if you follow that lead, you're going to get that lead. But
Got
I think
it.
there's people out there that do strive for what we have to offer too, as far as like our Instagram, like our whole entire package.
Yeah.
Like my Instagram's not just me, it's my dog, it's my art,
Right.
it's
It's
quotes,
authentic.
it's about God, it's about
authentic, yeah.
things that I think need to be spread more on that platform. But even my mom's like, don't even look at your Instagram likes, how many you got. And I don't, because I'm here for my page. And I feel like if you can inspire those people with what we're doing, they'll like it. And there's going to be people that don't. And then I say, just don't follow me. Don't listen to my music.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. If I don't like, cheese on something, I'm not going to put cheese on it. It's just life. Like, don't do it then.
Yeah.
So it's pretty common sense if you look at it that way.
Well, there was always criticism. And it's like before the social media, and you wouldn't remember that, but there was a time before social media.
MySpace, I knew my sister was on. I don't know.
Dinosaurs roam the globe.
I've heard that myth too.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's always been criticism, and that's the crazy part about, people say that, my contemporaries will say, oh, people are so harsh to criticize this a young person's music or whatever. I'm like, critics were always around. The platform that they can reach you now is very direct.
Oh, absolutely.
The playing field's extremely level now.
I mean, if someone hates my music, they can tell me in 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Dead Man Switch 88, I hate you.
So the impact to the artist is immediate. Whereas I think used to be critics, the public ultimately voted with their dollar. Right? That's why you had gold album sales and things.
Right.
But the critics in the newspapers, they were like that next level of critique, which is kind of disingenuous too, right? Because what would we give a crap what they say, But that's how it was. But criticism was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way, unfortunately, you can encounter it earlier now.
And faster. As soon as you put out a single, it's like, oh, they don't like it. Okay. Like, you can tell. But that's a struggle too. I feel like just social media in general with music, like Spotify numbers and Pandora and this playlist and that. I'm just like, I just want to record and I want to tour and I want to play music and I want people to be there and I want to look at them and then look at me and we socialize and it's a vibe, it's great, and that's what I'm longing for.
I understand.
So for me to try to get caught up in that, I would probably be very sad. I think I would start to get like, man, I can't even get enough likes because I'm singing this or doing that or doing this, because it's all based on social media. Like, we're working every Sunday in the studio to put music out, and if I don't post a clip of me singing on social media, nobody's going to care about it. But if I put out a single, social media is not going to be there to support it. It's going to be people that love music. So if I put the single out on Instagram, they're looking for my face and like a photo shoot, like you said. So I've been learning that even just this past year about don't rely so much on that. Like, I think like getting on a tour and finding people that want to come see a live show still is the people that I need to meet. And I'm like longing for that. So I'm really sick of social media, if you can tell.
That's refreshing to actually hear someone in your position say that. That's actually very refreshing for me to hear that.
Waiting for it to happen.
Talking about the process quickly too, because obviously, to revert back to what I was mentioning prior, you do all the you're releasing the album on your own. You're also producing all the videos, and that's completely 180 from how it used to be as well too.
And that's the wild thing about today's artistry, is that people don't really, a lot of things are smoke and mirrors and I guess behind the scenes, but today as an artist, I mean, if you want to really make a song, let's just be honest about it, if you want to be an artist, write a song, congratulations. Now you have to think of, how am I going to market it, how am I going to get it out, what kind of video am I going to shoot, what am I going to look like, the amount of...
And all that stuff takes money.
And all it takes money, time, and now I got to show everybody on 16 different social media platforms how I can do this, right? They all got to buy it, I got to make sure all my likes are good. The game has changed entirely, and unfortunately, it's kind of gotten farther away from what the artist is, right? Like what she just said to you is what all artists actually want to do. I don't want to sit on my Instagram every day. Okay, thanks, Timmy. From, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very thankful for my fans, but I would rather interact with them. Go to
certainly. Certainly.
So it's kind of almost creating like this fake or this faux kind of existence as an artist, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Where you don't even feel like a real connection to your listeners.
Right.
So I mean,
unfortunate.
It is.
It has to go through so many other platforms to meet them.
It really is.
And if they don't like it on Instagram, they're not going to go to Spotify and buy it. They're not going to go to iTunes. They're not going to come to your show just because of one social media. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you how much that frustrates me, but it's okay because we're working on getting on a tour, so we're good.
The other thing is and I want to say this about the inundation of music, is because I think this is kind of where my negative towards it comes from, is back in the day, Robert Plant could wail, right? So you took note of it, right? It was, oh, well, he can wail, he's in, these guys are in, right? Well, Mia can wail, right? Well, we're not in the world where, oh, she can wail, she's in, we're in. It's because now there's 70,000 other terrible artists, no offense, but they're bad. They're being pushed or being put in front of your face, right, before you even get a chance to get to Mia, right? So now in your mind, you've already heard 10, 15 other artists that might not be as good as Mia, that you won't even get to discover her, right? And she can wail. That's what I don't like about it. There's no filler there. Okay, go.
Okay, no, I get it.
Okay.
And I think what I was going to say was, the cause of that has been the technology, by the creation of social media and giving everyone a platform, whether they really deserve it or not.
Bingo.
there's so
God
much
bless them, though.
composition. No, absolutely. And the other side
I see
of that
it, and
is,
I'm like, but they deserve that too. That's in their heart.
But
you know?
then the other side of it, correct, from a creativity standpoint, there are more outlets now. I guess it's just the lines were so finite years ago on everything. Opportunities, talent.
There were
levels. Now it's like the Wild West now.
Exactly. There were levels, and you knew them. You know what I mean? Today, there's not really as many levels to this, and if there are, they're getting blended. There's a gray area now.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Very, very good point.
There should be levels to things.
And there is the chance, like the opportunity now does exist to be an independent artist. Like you don't have to rely on the big labels that'll be like, oh, you're either in or you're out, and then they give you this big bonus, whatever, bank loan essentially.
Or 360 deals, right?
Basically a loan, and
absolutely.
You know, now it's like you can, as an independent artist, you can record in your house. I really like that about the digital era. Maybe it doesn't sound nearly as good, but there is less control. Like there's more independence in the creativity.
Artist is more in charge of their own direction, right? I mean,
That's
you
true.
can do what you want to do.
That's true. This is true.
Exactly.
So let's wind the clock back a little bit with you.
Okay.
And
Take it back.
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So, if you don't mind me asking, at what age did you determine that you were going to be a singer, or that you wanted to be a singer?
I don't think there was ever like an age that I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I think it was always just in my family, starting with my grandparents. My grandma was a big band singer, and my pap played the saxophone, so they met that way. Her name was Judy Bailey. It was a Nick Mitchell trio. They played at the Holiday House. They did everything.
There's the connection.
They were beautiful, so if it wasn't for my grandma and my grandfather and my uncle Nicky starting the music in our family, I don't think it would be here. So then my mom and my uncle were in a band for 38 years together. So just being around it and in our blood, and it never left our family. Once it started, I mean, I was born to it, but I wasn't born as a singer because I didn't really understand it at that point as
you were
that.
Just always
I just loved
singing,
music.
Though. Okay.
And so I just started to go around with my mom and my uncle, and he has a studio in his house. He plays every instrument. My uncle is super, super talented, and I'm thankful for both of them for pushing me to be in music and never letting me not get out of it. But if I wanted to say, hey, I want to be a lawyer tomorrow, they'd be like, great, do it. We support you, you know? So I just had that backing of music in my blood. And I was in like the band. I never did choir in school, so I was always playing an instrument. I was like the flute player or something, so I never sang really till that point. But at home I would. I just never had the niche to be like in a choir or a group of people. I just felt better with like my mom and my uncle. So I did the whole growing up with a band in my family. So I did like Christmas shows and things like that where on the side I would sing or like lead or not. And then at one point I was like, I'm ready. Like I think I'm ready to like be a part of music finally. And I was 8.
Okay.
I did like Christmas shows faithfully, and I don't even like Christmas songs, but I did them anyways. So I did it, and
I
then
found another person who doesn't like Christmas
don't like
music.
Christmas music.
Finally found somebody.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you.
I hear that Mariah Carey, so one more. I
don't listen to Christmas music. So I did that, and then my family was a blues band that I had, so I was 13 fronting a band with a whole horn section and playing.
What's the name of that band?
It was just called Mia Z. And it consisted of my mom and my uncle, and then Jeff Nab on the bass, Mark Anderson on the drums. Then I had a whole horn section, and we did the Hard Rock Cafe, we did the Altar Bar, we did the Rex Theater opening for Devin Allman, and all these cool acts. But it was all original music. I didn't play one cover any show.
That's impressive.
My mom and I and my uncle wrote the music. My mom and I mainly at home. She would play the keyboards, and I would just sing a melody, and that was a song. It didn't change. Okay. So we would take it to the band every Wednesday. I have a studio downstairs in my pap's old grocery store that we converted into a studio. And we would practice every single Wednesday. We'd go out and play a show every single weekend. So I didn't do proms. I didn't do, all the fun things, all that stuff. So, and dances and stuff. But I still, so I was just music. But I still had a life. Like music didn't control me.
Right.
And it wasn't something I was like, I have to like be this or be that in music. It was just part of it. So it felt like lunch and dinner, and like it was part of that.
Okay.
So I never
part of your routine.
Mm-hmm. I never had to like want that or need that. It was just there, and I was blessed with it. So
I think that's fascinating that you were singing blues music.
It was straight blues,
as opposed because that's an outlier. That's
blues.
different.
Yeah,
as opposed to what
it was sad music. So that's what I always went towards the minor chords rather than a major chord. My mom would play a major chord, and I just didn't want to sing. I'd like go into the room and like do my makeup or something. So and she'd start playing minor, and she'd see me come around the corner, and I would start to sing.
Okay.
So I like minor chords. But,
shout out Mazzanotti, she's the bomb.
Yeah, my mom's been great. She's the mastermind.
So, but growing up from the time you were 8 to like 13, 14 years old, did you like popular music as well?
Yeah.
While you weren't performing that.
No, but I was a competitive cheerleader, so I did competitive cheerleading as well. So I was into all of the current music, because in order to be a cheerleader, you had to be
pretty
that.
hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's time consuming too, right?
Yeah, I was there like every day with my sister. We were on 2 teams, so it was every single day faithfully. But I played on the weekends, and at one point I decided like I can't do cheerleading anymore. I'm gonna sing. So I'd probably still be a competitive cheerleader if I wasn't, in music. I enjoyed that a lot, but I so my she's a little bit older than me, so she was playing like Rihanna and Lil Wayne and all these.
He's got the funny
in
laugh, right?
between, yeah.
I think I heard him before.
All these in between people. So I was listening to that, and then my mom would have Pink Floyd and Steely Dan and all of those good tunes. So it was a nice mix for me, and then I had me, what I listened to.
Right.
So I got to experience all of it and the changes between music and like the popularity, and then I found exactly what I liked, which was all of it. So I didn't really pick. And I still don't pick when people ask me, who's your favorite artist, who's your favorite. I mean, music is music, and it's all inspiring to me. So I don't have a favorite genre or anything, but I did sing the blues. So it was like, how did that come out of me? I don't know. It's what gravitated towards my heart, because I wanted that sound. So
and you felt it.
I felt it, yeah.
I had a famous musician once tell me, we were talking about genres of music or something, and he said to me, he goes, I don't care about genres. He goes, it's either good music or it's bad music. And he goes, and you can find good and bad music in every genre.
Right,
Is that pretty much how you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you can find good and bad people in we all have different jobs, so you can't just everybody bases music off of like, oh, the music industry is hard. And I'm like, life is hard. Look at life.
Sure.
Like, let's just take a minute and look at life, not just what we do called music. Because I feel like it has such a big title for it. Like, if you're in the music industry, whoa, it's like we're like walking through life every day like, whoa,
okay,
like, this is a real deal.
interesting point. So I've always maintained that someone of your age didn't know you don't know any difference. So me sitting here in my mid 50s, I remember when the music industry looked like this, and artists did this. Some were compensated, and they toured, and it was all how it used to operate. You don't know that because you've never seen it,
right? But I've been told, like, my mom and my uncle, I could vouch, like they saw it. My mom went to every Pink Floyd concert that was here. She was in the band. She was a groupie. She understood it. So she would share that with me, and I would tell her, why didn't you guys get to go on that stage? Because you were just as talented as Pink Floyd.
Got it.
So for me, I still have that own mindset. Even if I didn't see it, I got to hear a lot about it.
Understood.
So as I took from it, I was like, so you're saying the music industry is hard, but like being, a doctor isn't hard. I get it's all different, but so is technology. Look at the treatments they have for like cancer. It's way different than what they had. So I feel like music, again, still isn't that thread that's the only thing that would change dramatically. I think the entire world did.
Well, what I was saying, like, you're more open to it. Your attitude is more open toward it. The current
than other
music
people,
scene,
maybe. Yeah.
Than someone who's trying to at 50 is still trying to break.
You don't drive the same car. You have a newer car. You're not going to drive an old car that you had back then when Pink Floyd was famous.
Come on now.
So it's like you have to take that. Although I would want that, I would still want that for my era. In this time, but
I think that your generation will save music because you're not jaded.
We will.
You're not jaded, but you're not jaded
No.
by having the.
We're actually motivated by it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
You hear the jaded generation,
you hear them,
but
past,
you didn't live it, so you're not. Your perspective of music is fresh.
You know what's funny, based off the point you brought up earlier about the genres defining the art almost a little bit, is that actually is working against us now. We're like, for example, if I would say rap to you, right, it's already going to put an image inside you. You might think Ice Cube, you might think Dr. Dre, you might have an image of what rap is. Exactly. Oh, there you go. Right. Okay. And hey, shout out Snoop. More power to you, Snoop. I'm not talking a lot here. My point is just that that doesn't necessarily mean that's the kind of rap I'll be doing. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that's the kind of art that I'll be putting forward.
Yeah.
So it almost kind of has almost like a negative connotation to it in a lot of areas too. Where if I say, hey, this is my kind of music, and you're like, oh, well, I can think of six.
Because it's a label.
You got it.
It's a label.
I can think of 6 other artists who do that. So you're probably just like that. I don't like it.
That's why I don't even tell people like, well, what do you do? Like, are you a singer? And I'm like, am I a singer? I mean, I want you to go listen to it and you decide, because I don't know, because like you said with the whole rap thing, I don't like walk around saying I'm a singer. I'm an artist. I like.
That's it. Back is the era of the artist. We're artists now. We're not.
Are you a recording artist?
Yeah, you got it.
Live artist too. I would say.
Okay.
I'd rather be live than recorded. So
that's the truth.
Performing artist.
So it's like if we end up just talking fast over guitar and drum tracks, like it's automatically rap or hip-hop.
He's a rapper. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like that's my skill set.
If we're telling if it's more poetry than it is more like
how fast are you?
It's quick speaking. It's more rhythmic value to it, but like I don't really see us being any really different than like I mean, we could be rock, we could be alternative, we could be hip hop, we could be rap.
Right.
Whatever you guys want to call us, that's what we are.
Not to be whatever, but I think we're kind of like a Nirvana to rap, because we're trying to come in an industry that already has kind of carved its way out, and we're trying to say, listen, we kind of think there's an angle here we can play.
Got
where
it.
You know what I mean? It's not straightforward this way.
No, I totally get it, and it goes back to. We're so quick to label everything in society. We want to slap a label on humans constantly, all day long. You're this, you're this. How do you know that person's this? Same thing with music.
Yep.
And I think that, and I think that the hope that your generation brings to old fogies like me who love music, it's my every fiber of my being.
Yeah. Is
that you're going to tear it all down because you don't want us telling you this is this and this is this, because you're looking at us going, well, we don't care what you thought it was. This is what we think it is, and this is what we're going to do. There's a beauty in that.
Yeah.
There's a. I mean, I can recognize that there's a beauty in that, because, because I also believe your generation will continue to erode labels in society as well too, which certainly needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Regardless of your political bent, we're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, the more we label and put people in boxes, whether it's music, people, groups. You're not what someone else thinks you are. And I think that hurt a lot of performers in the prior eras being dictated to by producers. Like you talked about having a song, and by the time you take that song through the whole process, whether you willingly did it or whether they dictated to you, they can change that whole song around to market it, right? And there's no integrity in that.
If we started out that way, I was probably going to say no. I said no to a lot of songs and a lot of producers and writers that are very successful in LA that I was just like, I don't want to sing that. And my mom was like, just try it. No, I don't, because that's not for my heart. Like, that's not something I'm going to engage in if it doesn't already feel right for me. Like some of the lyrics or just some of like just the melodies even, that I was like, hey, I'm still interested in minor chords, so can we add a few? Like, no, this is a song, a little girl, you're going to learn to like it. Your biggest hit is going to be the one you hate. Why?
Okay, so exactly what you just said.
I don't want to hate my first hit.
Let's talk about how it all happened here.
Okay.
All right. Pretend I don't know anything about The Voice, because I didn't either. So. My wife and my daughters and stepdaughters, they know it all. They're thrilled you're here today. That's by the way, awesome. They are.
I would love to meet them.
Yeah, I think you probably will.
Yeah.
And they said, and my daughter goes to me, Dad, you're gonna go talk to me, and you don't know anything about that show. I said, well, I sat down and watched that show with you on occasion. She goes, yeah, every time you did, you'd be oversleeping on the end of the couch.
My mom would sleep too.
They know for sure. So how take me back to when you first had the idea, because I'm guessing there was an audition in different cities. Well, how's that work?
There is. I never believed in The Voice, and I'm going to admit that, because I don't want to be like fake about it. I was like, I don't want to be on that show. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sing covers, and I don't want to have to be on TV singing stuff. I just didn't want it. My grandma would watch it. I was like, oh, that show's on again. So I was never into it. And my mom just got mad one day. My mom can't copy and paste for her life on anything on social, computers. So she just copy and pasted a link of something. I don't even know how she I don't know how she did it.
Okay.
God bless her for doing it, because it did change my life. And she didn't tell me that she submitted me.
Oh, right.
Because I was probably never going to say yes to it. So
fantastic.
So she was like, so she submitted it, and she got an email back like the next day, and they were like, bring her to Cleveland to do a private audition. And she didn't tell me for probably a week. And she got my uncle to come up and reveal that she was like trying to throw hints. What would you do if the voice asked you? I was like, no, you can go. You can pack your bags and sing for me if you'd like to go. I was like, I'll pass. So my uncle and her came up and they like sat me down. I was like, what happened? Like, why are we having like a family meeting? Like, what is the deal? And they're like, well, you got picked for a private audition for The Voice. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going. So I just didn't want to do it.
Wow.
It's just I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to form my own original art. And she was a single parent. She didn't have enough money to, throw me to in LA and say, here, make this music for her and make it great. That wasn't our goal.
Okay.
So, but she was like, I did it. I submitted it. So I don't know how they convinced me to go. So I went to Cleveland.
Okay.
And it was all just like messed up. We drove, me and my mom, and we got there and we had a hotel, and then we had to go to a different hotel because we didn't like that hotel. It was like creepy. I was like, I'm not staying here. So we went to another hotel. I think it was a Holiday Inn. And there was a gentleman there. He was a bellhop.
Okay.
And I was just already mad. I didn't want to be there. I was still debating on, do I audition or not? It was a private audition, so I'd have to stand in line. I was like, I'm not standing in line with these. No, not happening. So I was not interested in it.
This is great.
So we went to this hotel, and at that point, I just wanted to cry, and I don't cry often. So he brought our bags up, and my mom was like, we were both fed up with each other at that point. We were like arguing, and we were crying, we were laughing, and then it was just like a roller coaster of emotions. So we got in the room, and I just sat on the bed, and I was like, I want to cry. So I cried. I just started to cry, and he brought our bags up. And he was like, so what are you guys doing here? He's like, there was like that voice thing was here. Are you here for that? And my mom's like, go ahead, Mia, tell the bellhop what you want to tell him because you're not happy with me. So he sat down on the bed with me. He sat down on this bed, and I just poured my heart out to him, this stranger.
Interesting.
This black guy, he was awesome. And he was actually a radio show host and everything, and he was into music, so he must have got that vibe. And I just said, I just have to audition for this. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know what God's telling me to do. I just don't know what to do about this. I don't feel comfortable. I want to go home. And he sat me down, and if it wasn't for that man and the words that he spoke to me that day, I would have never auditioned for The Voice.
Really? What was
he
the crux
He just
of what
sat me down and just said, look, you just go experience this. If you love music and you're here for this, you're here. Just go do it. Who cares what they say? Who cares what they pick? Who cares what they do? Just be yourself and know that God has you here for a reason. Because you came to this hotel, you're in this room, you're in Cleveland, you're with your mom. Experience this, take this as a blessing, and run with it. And I was like, whoa. Okay, yeah, let me get my hair ready and get to this, this audition. So I stayed, and it just felt weird.
So where was the audition?
It was in a studio room just in Cleveland. I don't really know. It was like a back. It was weird.
So it wasn't like a performance hall or anything.
No,
they rented out.
It was just like in a room.
Okay.
And I didn't like that either because I wanted reverb and I wanted, all these things that my family gave me.
This girl some reverb.
She loves her reverb.
Listen, that's like the.
I was blessed to be with I had family in music, so I got everything I needed.
That's so great.
So I had to sing I did Amy Winehouse. Obviously, she's been a big inspiration to me, and so I did her song, and I covered that, and the lady that was the casting call was like, oh, you sound like Amy Winehouse on drugs. And I was like, oh, so you don't like me? Can I leave now? Are we done here? What's the deal?
She said you sound like Amy Winehouse.
So that was the first song I did. And I was like, awesome. They definitely want me here. Why did you pick me? I was automatically turned off. I said, well, my mom's here and she plays and there's a keyboard. Do you care if I do an original? Screw all these cover songs if you don't want to hear them. So I did Drive Me Crazy, which is online and everything. And my mom played. And I was like, you got to get up here because I'm not doing any more cover songs for these people if they don't already like this. So I'll do original. You're not allowed to do originals. So
interesting. I
just said, can my mom play? Because she knows how, and we'll just sing. And if you like it, great. If you don't, you don't. So we played it, and they were like, yeah, that was really good. You're a great voice. So they just passed me on to the next audition, and it just kept growing from there. We went to LA, and I did a private audition. They were still not certain about me, and I was still not certain about them.
How many auditions did it take to get on the show?
3 before you got to the blinds.
So you flew up to LA for the second one?
For the second one, right.
And then the third one was also in LA?
Yeah, so we had 2 more we had to go through, but they were in this big hotel in Studio City, and it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of different people, and you don't realize how many talented people there are until they're with you. I bet. It was really eye-opening and super humbling to be around them and for them to support each other. It was really cool. So we got there and I did that audition in a room. I did Ain't No Sunshine. It was a little room like this, cozy little lights and candles, and I just had to sing. So I did that, and I felt good about it at that point. I was like, okay, they're starting to warm up to me. And then she saw me in the hallway. She was like, "You did really good today." And I was like, "Whoa, thanks." So did not like me before.
Same woman, huh?
Yeah, she was a beautiful lady too. She had like a little Yorkie. She was super cool. She's so cute. But I wanted her to like me, but she didn't. I was like, I'm gonna get her to like me by the end of the show. Yeah, they like pooped on the floor and they like didn't pick it up. I was like, oh my god, like
she didn't pick it up.
No, I was like, all right, Michelle, we'll get it.
That's a different world out there.
So then so I got pushed on to do the blind. So I went home for a little bit, then we came back and did the blind auditions. And before all that, we had to like prep and we had to practice and we had to stay in hotels. And I had my mom with me because I was a minor. I was 15.
Right.
So
right.
We did that whole process, and you do interviews and you do you don't meet the coaches or anything yet. So then the day of the audition, my family was flown out, and my mom and my sister and my uncle and my aunt, my cousins were there. So it was at that point, it was like, I'm just ready to sing this blind audition song and like, let's go. Like it was a lot of preparation, a lot of prepping, like 4 months of that.
Okay.
So finally got like the day of my audition, we all got dressed up. We did our interviews. There's like 100 of us, if not more. And I was last, Zanotti. Yeah, I'm always last on the list. So I was waiting all day for 14 hours. 14 hours I had to sit and wait. And I was like tired. I was hungry. I was like, okay, like they want me to sing now. It was like maybe 11 o'clock at night. And they were going to cancel for that day and then go to the next day and like restart for the blinds.
Right.
And I was the last one. They're like, bring her in. And I was like, that was really encouraging. Okay. So here we go. I was so, it was just like a whole win world. But I had a really good everything bagel before I went on, and I went out there and I just sang The Thrill Is Gone. And I just did it.
When you walked off of there, did you know you nailed it?
I felt good about it. Yeah, I did feel good
it.
about it. It was cool. There was a band there. There was a live band that plays. So I was like, knowing they were back there and they had my back, it was encouraging and inspiring. Yeah,
that's
it felt
powerful.
good. And like the cast and the crew and the producers, as soon as you get on that show, like they all welcome you.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast, the crew, the makeup artists, the photographers, the fashion people. I mean, that show is
treat you
run
good.
by beautiful people.
Okay.
I mean, they treat you very well. And it was like cool to experience that and to meet other people, meet other artists and vibe with them and understand them and where they came from. I mean, you met people from all over.
Right.
So we all were just stuck in this hotel for,
right.
A year pretty much together. We'd go to the grocery store together, go back, but we couldn't tell anybody. It was all confidential.
Okay.
So nobody knew until the live. So I had to keep all this quiet for like 6 months until it aired. And I was like, hey, I'm on The Voice. They're like, oh. I was like, yeah, I know everything about it. So so as the steps just kept going on, it became such a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like this big brat in the beginning. I'm not doing this. And I opened up my heart, and my mom kept pushing me and just said, just trust God, because he knows why he wants you here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you're right, I'm going to do this. And my family got to come out to LA. It was first time out in LA. So I felt like, whoa, this is it.
That's very cool.
And I was like, this is it. Okay. Turns. But so I did I made it to the top 10, which was a super big accomplishment.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
I then got voted off. Didn't get enough Twitter saves or something. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. And then
you didn't pay attention.
So we were like getting ready to go home, and it was just sad to see all the people there that like felt like that was the end for them. Like The Voice.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, you must have seen a lot of heartbreak.
You guys are like so phenomenal. For you to even think it ends here, like blows my mind. Blows my mind. And they were a lot older than me, some of them. So that could feel how like, oh, I'm already like this age and I shouldn't. I'm like, you guys, like, we won an Emmy that year. That's how good that season was. Not even because of me, because the other artists on there were phenomenal. I mean, I can't put it into words. Artists like that's live performing. There's no auto-tune. There's no nothing on that.
Right,
so that's
right.
It was pretty
all
serious.
Hanging out there.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And like the elaborate stages, like you got to perform. Like, you know what I mean? They wanted entertainment. So I got to like really step out of my
and
comfort
the audience
zone
is out there, right?
Yeah, there's about like a couple hundred people.
Okay.
So it's like you got on that stage, you have the inner ears, you have the band. Like it was super. I was blown away when I start to think about it. Like I was on that. I got to experience that. So I stayed in touch with everybody, and I got voted off. And then I was like, okay, but I'm ready to go home and like play with my band and be in Pittsburgh.
Don't go home yet. Hold on a second. We're gonna get home here in a second. You're on Team Pharrell, right?
Yeah.
So how was your interaction with him, and how much interaction did you have with him?
I had a lot of interaction at first. So Pharrell and Blake turned for me,
Right.
And Christina's team was full, and so was Adam's. So at the end of the day, there was only 2 that could turn, but they also chose to turn.
Right.
So I was going to pick Blake. I was pretty certain that I was going to pick Blake.
Why?
Just of what he was saying to me. He was super like all about the music and the song and your range and this and that. And he really just spoke music to me rather than like just compliments. Like he talked about the song.
Okay.
And then Pharrell said some words that like I knew in my head that I didn't tell anybody, that I was trying to get people to feel with the song. And he said them.
Okay.
And I was like, well, Pharrell, yep, you're it. That's it. Done. So I was with him a lot. We got to do like rehearsals together, and we would talk here now and then, and we had like an email we could chat through with him.
Sure.
And he was, I mean, incredible, like humble and honest and inspiring, and really pushed you to be you. He never critiqued. I mean, he'd give his advice, but he was like, do that, but do it more. You know what you're doing here? Do it 10 times more. Like, keep giving it you. Keep giving it you. So everybody on his team got blessed with that whole, like, just be your unique self.
Okay.
So I was really glad and fortunate that I picked him and got to hear that from him. You know, being on that show, because that was a big support for me, because we had like vocal coaches, and like it was more like schooling kind of, and that wasn't like what I was about with music. So like getting to meet with him, and like him saying, just keep doing you, and I was like, okay, thank you, you're telling me to sing this note and do that. I don't really want to listen, I just want to do what I want. And he would let you. So and you're on live television, so if you want to change the whatever, you can, but it was like that was my benefit. I was like, when I go out there live, I'll do more there. So but I got to spend a lot of time with him. He was a gem.
Was there any moment in that process, whether it was just doing all the things leading up to it or those performances there, where was ever a moment you went, oh my God?
Yeah. I think when I would just hit my head at night on the pillow, and my mom and I were there, and we just got done like walking to a gas station to get a snack, and I would just go back and say, I can't believe that we're here. It was never like in the moment. It was always like when I got to debrief at night.
Okay.
We stayed at the Studio City hotel, the Sportsman's Lodge, and they had this saltwater taffy, and we would always just like sit there and like hold this taffy and eat it and just talk about this whole experience that I got to be a part of. Like the voice picked me for this.
Right.
And it was it's still crazy to think about. I can't believe that it happened. It felt like it was so long ago, but it changed my life, and it changed my perspective on not only myself but music and others and TV. And
in what way for TV? What
TV, as far as it's not that real.
You don't say.
but it was just so it was a great show to be a part of, as far as like the meetings and the schedules and this and that. Like, I hope to run a family like that someday. Like, it was very put together, but still flowy, you know. And it was like the makeup artist and everybody was just so happy to be there.
Okay.
It was like everybody was positive about it.
Very professionally run.
Very professional, but also just very kind. Like, they care. Like, if you were cold, they gave you a robe. It was just like, thank you, you know, for thinking of us that way. And we thought of them as well. So it was, I'll probably never experience anything like it again. It was,
well, you never know.
It's very special for me. So
you never know.
I'm happy that I got to do
So
it.
you come home.
Well, I didn't get home yet. I was on my way to the airport.
Okay.
And the voice producer kept calling my phone. I was like, I'm like voted off. What do they want?
Okay.
You know, so I was like, I'm not going to answer. It's probably a mistake. My mom was like, answer it. And I was like, all right, fine. So I answered it, and it was Pharrell. And he was like, hey, Mia, I'd really like to see you again. I don't want you to go home yet. Can you come back? I'm going to put you in a hotel, and I'd like to meet with you in the studio. And I was like, oh, sure. So our driver had to turn us around. My family's at the airport. Like, we're waiting for you. We got you a salad and this and that. And I'm like, Pharrell's asking for me to come back. My sister was like crying. She's like, I want to see my sister. And I was like, I'm coming home soon. So we went back to this hotel, and it was right by the, you know, where we filmed The Voice. So he put me up in this hotel, and he called me, and we were just there waiting for Pharrell to call me. I didn't know what to do. So I was sitting there on the bed, and we're like, okay, so we're here. And he called me and said, let's go into the studio tonight and cut some songs. I have some Mary J. Blige cover songs if you want to do those. And I was like, oh, covers, really? So I was like, fine, we'll do it. Again? Like, let's just meet and talk, you know? So he sent me these songs, and I learned them. I had like maybe 6 hours to learn them.
Okay.
And so I went to the studio, and it was about 8 o'clock.
All right.
And he wasn't there. So we went in, and his family was there, and his wife and his son, Rocket, were there. And we got to sit, and we were like, hi. So they're like, come on in, there's grapes, there's don't have a water. And we were sitting, and we were there for about 4 hours till he got there. He had a meeting. They were still filming The Voice. So he called me back on his own
to
bring me here to meet with him. And we were sitting there and we were talking, and his son was talking about space and telling me all these things, and his wife was there, and we were all just hanging out and waiting for Pharrell to come. And
Eating grapes.
Eating grapes. I remember because Rock was like, "Those are my dad's grapes," and I was like, "Am I allowed one or not?" Because he kept like watching everything I was doing, so I was like, "All right, I won't touch them." But his wife
great.
Helen, they were beautiful people, great souls. Just talked to us like we were part of their group, you know.
Okay.
And so we waited for Pharrell to come. He came. He had some people with him, his manager Cactus and stuff. And
Cactus?
her name was Cactus. It was a cool name. She was cool.
You had me at Rocket. I was one of those Rocket.
Rocket.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
name. Shout out for Ralph for his son's name. That's got
Rocket, he's such a gem. I bought him this space book because he knew everything about space, and I was like, I'm not that smart about space. Like, he was like 4 and he knew more than like everybody in the room. I felt so dumb. He was like, no, that's this. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm buying a book for myself.
That's great.
So Pharrell came in, he sat down in front of me, and he was like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm feeling amazing. Thank you for having me. And he's like, how are you feeling about The Voice? Like, how do you feel about this experience? And I was like, I'm super blessed. Like, my cup runneth over. You know, people are like, oh, you poor child, like, you're not, you're voted off. How do you feel? You should be sad. You should be. I was like, this is like a whole beginning to a life. Like, I'm 16 and I saw all of this and experienced this, and you gave me the opportunity to be on the show. Like, you turned for me. Thank you. And so he just started, he's like, how do you write a song? And I was like, well, it's in minor, and my mom plays on the keyboard. It's really how I do it. So my mom's like, yeah, put it in minor. We'll keep it there. And I was like, yeah, good. So I think this is the first song Pharrell wrote in minor. He was playing on a keyboard and he just played these notes. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with you, huh? Like, you're not sad. You're not depressed or anything, right? Because I had like dark eyeliner and people think I'm like dark. He's like, you're just very unique. And I respect that about you. And I think we need to write about that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool. So he started writing on the piano. He went in the vocal booth and started just singing and like cutting the song, basically. He didn't have any lyrics written down. We were just talking and going back and forth, and he'd take the words and go in the studio and sing them and cut that back, cut this. And then at this point, from just things we were talking about, it all came apart to a song. So he cut the song and he's like, go in and start singing it. And I was like, all right. Like, cool. And I went in and like we both just whittled through it, and eventually I got the demo track done. And it was beautiful. The song's called Child, and it was the whole experience about me being 16 and being on The Voice, and my cup runneth over, and I'm just blessed to be here. Like, and don't ever stop dreaming, child.
How about that?
So we did that, and that was like, I was really happy with it, like the demo track, and he like wanted the voice vocal coach to recut it. So we went to another studio the next day, and I recut it all.
Okay.
And I was a little more like robotic, because we had to like redo it, and it was like her telling me how to sing it and where to belt, and I was like, okay. So I did all that, and we left the studio that night. He was like, we're gonna stay here probably till 6 a.m. You're welcome to stay. It's gonna get a little crazy in here. And I was like, oh, we're good. Like, we'll get our Uber and go home and get some rest. We'll let you do your thing. And then we left, and that was it. Like, I saw him again on the show because they like promoted like Child and everything, but after that, it was like he gave me that token and he wrote that for me, and I shot a music video for it, and Pharrell Williams was the producer and the magic mind behind
Incredible,
it. So it was really cool. But he did end up keeping the demo track. So I recut with the vocal coach the whole song. Mm-hmm. They didn't keep any of it. I was like, because I asked him, we had like this like voice party or something, I don't know, it was before like the finale, and I went up to him and I was like, hey, did you change the whole song back to the demo? Because it's out on iTunes as a demo. And I was like, he was like, yeah, you're a one take. And I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you for that, I really appreciate it. And I worked so hard on that new track, and I was like, he kept the drum. I was like, he kept the scratch. I was like, he did. And I want to thank him for that, because it was such a blessing. I thank God every day, and it was just an honor to work with him.
I bet.
Yeah, it was really cool.
His persona is just so overly positive and just
humble, and
yeah.
He's very quiet, and just you could just talk to him. Like, if he was here, he would just look in your eyes and talk to you. Just not distracted by a single thing.
Pharrell, you're always welcome. Just put it out there.
Come see us.
Come see us.
So that was a cool experience.
So you fly home.
Yeah, I flew home after that, finally. Well, actually, I don't know if I did. I think I stayed because Luke Wade was on the show before, and I got a call about doing this breast cancer. It was called Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It was a cover to support TCU, Frogs for the Cure. Mm-hmm. And Luke Wade and I were going to do like a duet together. So I didn't get to go home that soon. I went I had to go do that right after because I got asked to do that. So me and Luke Wade did that. We traveled all around all the NFL games, and we put out this song, and all, you know, the funds from it went to breast cancer awareness. So I didn't get to leave then. I was thinking I was going home, and I wasn't. My mom was like, oh, you got another offer. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So that was super cool with Ann Loudon. Shout out to them. It's called Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It's on YouTube. Music video. It was all for breast cancer. So I did that right after Child.
Okay.
So that's what happened. And then I went home.
So when you got home, was there any period of adjustment for you after all you've been through?
No. I was still in high school. And I
had homework to do.
I did a lot of homework. We had homework. We had like school time on The Voice, 8 hours. And I was like, I don't even have enough work to do for 8 hours. And like, you know, I don't want to do that. But I did. I had to. So my school, Kiskira, was a big support as well because they let me like miss out on like keystones and tests and PSAs and all these important things. And they're like, you know what, just do your thing. We support you. And you know, when you get back, you can do them. And I was like, all right, that's fine. So shout out to
a little
Kiski.
catch up when you get home.
They were great for a school to support me on that show and let me miss things that I couldn't just do at that time. But then I homeschooled, and I was in cosmetology school, so I went back to that.
Right.
Still staying in music and, you know, working with different producers and writers. And then Sawyer Fredericks, who won the show, asked me to be on his album, which was the Voice's winner album.
Right.
We did a song together called Strangers.
Right.
And so I was on the winner's album that year too. So much happened for me that on The Voice, you know, just like one thing after the other. Such a blessing. So I went on tour with him after I got home.
Right.
We did a whole East Coast, West Coast tour.
How'd you like that?
That was fun.
I bet.
So much fun. My mom and I, opened up. We opened up for him.
So touring does not suck.
No. It's awesome. You get bagels, you get coffee, you go in a car.
That's the first
bagels and coffee. What can we do? Come on.
Literally all we did.
No bagel like a tour bagel.
No, there isn't. Cream cheese, come on. That's what we lived off of. Even like we had a blast. Troubadour we did Tucson, Arizona. I mean, we went everywhere.
Yeah.
And sold out that. You know, he Sawyer Fredericks, you know, he sold it. Oh, he's incredible.
Right.
So I did that, and then I hooked up with some people in Sony, worked with them 4 years recording, and then I really went in the studio. Like I understood the studio side of things because I was like a lot of live and recording.
Sure.
And, you know.
Sure.
Nothing in the studio sense. We're like, oh, now it's the gritty work where we actually have to like sit down and figure this out, you know, and write more music.
And I'm guessing the way you sing is organic and as authentic as you. That probably didn't fit your.
It wasn't fun at first. I was like, I don't like recording. I didn't. It was.
Are you listening over there?
I didn't like it at first. I didn't. I was like, oh, you're like no audience, not live.
Right.
It was different. I had to like learn how to.
I bet.
To maneuver that. Although I did recordings at home, but nothing like that with other people telling you what to do and different writers and producers and the owners of these songs that want you on it. You better meet up to that and do what they say. You know what I mean? It was like that.
Right.
And it was an honor still, but it was just different. It's definitely different. So, but I got to work with many awesome producers and writers and engineers and all the people I met. I stayed out in LA for a long time, back and forth every month. Just recording. Like that's it.
Wow.
Still maintaining a job. I work at a finished appearance, a hair salon, and my boss would let me leave, and I would go 3 weeks, record, come home, work, go back out, record, come home, and you know, so we did that for about 3 years.
That's busy.
But I really understood the niche of LA.
Yeah.
And met amazing people. Like Ryan Toby and D Miles and Darius and all these people that helped me also get out of the voice thing, you know what I mean? And like, we know what you want to do. You want to make music.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. And so I have a lot of music in the background just that I can't really release right now. That I did with them.
Okay.
Probably 50 to 80 songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Ryan Toby and a lot with Ryan Toby and D Miles. So I did that, and that was super blessing. He's been a big mentor for me. Just understanding me
that
and
stuff see the light of day. At some point?
It will. I'm gonna make sure it does because we all deserve for that too. And it's great music. It's just like legal things, you know, all that stuff that has to do with music.
Absolutely, unfortunately.
But some of it's out. Tell Nobody's out. Ryan Toby wrote that with Kobe and Ivory, and then we did a rendition of Drive the Cars. So I did that with Ryan Toby specifically.
Okay.
And I have a lot of songs with him. So he brought me into his house and was like, he writes for Usher and all these really cool people.
Familiar.
And he really understood me, and he listened to me about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to create, and it being music, not pop. Like,
well, that was my next question.
It was cool.
So I listened to the tracks that she's doing with you.
Okay.
Then I listened to the voice performance, which again that's that's the show.
Right.
But knowing your blues background as well too, so that's kind of a wide.
It was different
spectrum.
Because when I went in, I was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it would be, and I was kind of scared to sing pop because I was like, do I fit over that? Can I sing it? Will I sound good? I don't care about. Necessarily at that point, I wasn't worried about the music. I was like, am I gonna sound okay on this?
Right.
And he really pushed me hard to make sure that I did it and tried it and perfected it and just like believed in me to do it. He was like, you can sing that. It's in your heart, it's in your soul. You have the talent, you have the gift.
Well, you have
Use
incredible
it.
range.
So I was like, thank you.
Yeah, you have incredible range.
That helps.
Yeah, that definitely. I don't even know what pop music is anymore. But,
I don't either. Yeah.
But this song, the one, if you had to classify it for marketing purposes, where does that fit? Help me understand modern day genres or modern day labeling for music.
Well,
I don't know.
I think the problem becomes in like I was talking about before is the perception of when you name a title or a genre, what it creates in people's minds, right?
Okay.
So for us, what I'd like to do with the one what we did with it is obviously put Mia in her strong suit, obviously put her on the chorus and have the beautiful singing, but Cal and I structured our verses so they weren't your typical rap verses, where we're not just going on and on talking about, we went down to the store on Tuesday and we saw TJ and he gave us a 5. Right? We came in with a strictly artistic, kind of William Shakespeare type approach.
Understood.
Where we're literally saying, I tried to pick her up, but she kept, I kept breaking her down. I'm awoke, and now basically each line we were crafting was tailor-made to try and create it so that it was melodically interesting, not just what we were saying as well.
Okay.
So what we're kind of trying to work on with the rap and introducing me and that whole collab approach is collabing me as singing, which is obviously popular, a melodic rap approach, which is kind of more like what Eminem does with the wordplay, where it's like where we're kind of using our cadences and our intonation to kind of. It's not singing, but it's keeping that melody in your head, right?
Okay.
So you're trying to keep your interest up, right? Because I think rap all too often just goes, it's got to have a real hot line or a couple really cool verses. You're like, oh, what's this? This shit's hot, right? And then like 30 seconds later, like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
It gets dismissed right away.
It's just going right up. So we try to keep it, all the, I guess, cut the fat and keep all the law parts out of it. You know what I mean? That was the plan.
More punch, anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, go for all punch with it. Yeah.
For sure.
But to answer your question, this day's pop music. It seems to be pretty much just guys who can say 3 or 4 words and then say yeah after that, which is why I can't get in. I'm smoking. I'm smoking in my car. Yeah. Smoking in a dog. Yeah. Rocking in a bar. Yeah. What about that bar?
Yeah.
And like even me as mom.
Look what we do on this show.
and even me as mom said to me, she's like, I don't understand your rap and like the new rap, and I'm like, what do you mean, Mom? She's like, well, your rap's like good. And like,
she did say that.
She's like, you're fast and you're flowing and you're melodic and
your lyrics. And she's like.
Yeah, and she's like, and your lyrics are on point. And I was like, thank you, Ma, I really appreciate that. But the point is she's making is these other guys are just, it's kind of like almost like a what do you want to call it? Like a march, like left, right, left, yeah, bah, bah. Well, you know what I mean? It's
any Nicki Minaj song.
Well, there you go. Dungeon Dragon.
How many times can you say stupid bitch in the same song?
That's what I'm trying to say. So if we're having this conversation, what is the message there? What do you like?
That she's a stupid bitch. Not her, but whoever she's singing to.
Yeah, it must be.
It must be, right? I mean, I don't know.
But you see my point where I think Pink Floyd. Not to cut you off, but I think Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin set the bar where it's like. Be artistic, be creative, be expressive without a doubt, but do something, convey something, convey a message people can grab onto, or what the hell?
You guys do
Wizards
that.
in a mountain somewhere,
whatever, or create a story that allows you to escape that, right? But just call me a stupid bitch or a dungeon dragon or whatever you're doing to me right now. I'm just not. It's not.
It's dumbing down the medium of music at some point.
Absolutely.
And at one point with their writing, I thought. For my age, because my mom loves it. She's like, oh, this is really inspiring. This has a meaning behind it. This makes sense. And for me, I'm over here like 21, like, do I really know what that word means? Do I ask them? Do I say it? We came to a point where I'm like, I don't know what this means.
We've had to Google some things.
What does this mean?
Oh my gosh,
they would like give me a line and I would like completely mispronounce the word. And I'm like, well, I don't even know what it means. So you got to explain it first.
Oh my gosh,
so the fact that they put that much meaning into it, and for my age, because I'm like, we got to be careful because if we put too much meaning, nobody's going to understand this. I don't.
That's the truth. You
Because
gotta worry
I
about
don't,
that. You gotta
and I'm
worry about
kind of
Meeting,
smart.
no
so,
one's gonna know what the
but
hell we're
I kept
talking about.
to keep it simple because like you guys have some really inspiring. Like it hits
you.
you right here, and you gotta
Thank you,
listen.
man.
You gotta
Thank you.
be aware of it. Like you gotta love music.
Yeah, no question.
Don't just be like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
listen. No, like listen. You know. So
Okay.
for me, I had to like really grasp that because they were like masters at it already, and I was like, oh, so we're gonna like actually go there with this. Like we're gonna take it there, and it's gonna make sense, and it's gonna mean something, and I'm gonna understand it. I'm gonna make other people understand it. So I've really learned a lot from them about
Okay.
that because it's not just I'm gonna rap something here. It's like no, there's
Sure.
a whole story, and the other people that even are in music now have a story. I get that, but the way that they do it, I've never seen it done.
If I take that from Hendrix, if 6 was 9, that's always been something that I've looked up to, that piece, because it's, how do I explain it? It's a way to convey a message in an extremely artistic way, but also create an experience for the people that come to your show. And that's what I want Dead Man Switch and Mia Z and you know, and our collab projects to be, is an experience. I want you to come, you feel like you're being entertained for a good 45 minutes to an hour. You love it, you leave, you can talk about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you take things from it. So now you're sitting there at work next week and you're like, hey, you know, he said this in this one lyric. You know what? I've been thinking this about so-and-so, and maybe he's right about that. Like, I want our music, her
To be
music,
impactful.
exactly, to push you to, you know, if you're at a crossroads in your life, push you to make a decision,
Yeah.
uplift you to do something
Yeah.
that you haven't wanted to do. You know, I think that's what music should be about. That just, to me, that's the way I look at it. And
Yeah.
so when she came to me, just like Pharrell, you know, Pharrell was at that time was like, you know, you don't really have anything that's like bothering you. Well,
Right.
when Mia came to me, there was some situations that in my life and her life that kind of, you know, we felt like we were wronged in some way to a large degree, and so that we kind of coincided with that, and we kind of bonded over that. And I was really able to put lyrics together, and she was as well, and Kyle as well, and everybody came together for this, but that she could really take hold of and captivate, that conveyed the message she
Got
really
it.
wanted, which is why I think the music's going to work so well.
Got it.
That's really
Amen,
it.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I look at that song. I didn't know who Pharrell was because, again, I'm old until the Happy song came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't even know that was the name of the singer. I just once in a while will either listen to someone else's music or I will, you know, throw the pop station on.
Sure.
Right.
And I hear this song, and I saw the movie. I took my kids to see maybe the.
Oh, yeah, it is on the movie. Despicable Me, I think it is.
yeah.
Is it? I
Yeah.
thought it was like
I think-
Happy Feet or something.
Happy
Pharrell,
Feet.
sorry, I could be way off on this. I could be way.
The
Is that
Penguins.
the Penguin
Yeah.
movie or something? Maybe it was. I don't
couldn't-
know.
I apologize,
But
I don't know.
But my point is, though, there is an example of simple lyrics, but he has the ability to convey that positivity. You cannot not feel happy listening to that song. I don't care what mood you're in. If you've heard it a billion times, that song has magic.
Brilliant record.
Magic.
Brilliant record. No doubt.
Great music video too.
That's the kind of music. So when you
Yes,
ask me,
the long one. It's like 24 hours
with all
long.
the people
Just-
dancing and the kids and the different yeah. it was cool.
that kind of song exactly is what I'm talking about. That is the Pink Floyd of our time, where
Yeah.
you're actually able to convey a message, capture a whole vibe, and the replay value of it is ridiculous. You just want to hear it over and over again, but you're not polluting the well. You're not contaminating the well at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which is why those songs to me have meaning, and that's why it's so important to me and awesome to me that I get the chance to work with Mia, who worked with Pharrell and was part. You know, it's just it's such an incredible experience the whole way around. It really is. It really, really is.
It's like keeping like making positivity go viral instead of like all the negativity.
That's what I mean,
And
right.
all like the, you know, here's what I have and all this stuff.
We definitely need more of that for sure.
So
There's
yeah,
no
that
question.
was really cool. And
That's our goal.
So, artists over the last 10 years that you really like, that stand out. Give me your top 5, 6, 7 of them.
Definitely Jessie J. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit. She's an incredible singer. She's super positive. She's a very clean, well put together, like, check her out because
Okay.
she is, I mean, I can't really relate necessarily to all the female artists. Like, I like Rihanna, but do I know her? Not really. I feel like I know Jessie J. Like, I traveled like 5 hours to go see her perform because I don't travel to see any concerts. That was
Okay.
like the only one I would, or Dead Man Switch. But
Oh.
I like, so Jessie J right now for me, she really opened my eyes up to just her in general. And then I would say like Mr. Probs. I really like him. I don't know. I don't have specific people that I like cling on to because I do have such a wide
What about Jacob?
open. Yeah.
Jacob Banks.
Yeah.
Right now, I just discovered him like a couple months ago. He has that whole heart and soul feel.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really know as far as artists.
So the big megastars, like if someone said to you, I don't know.
like when he's Ariana Grande is one.
Yeah. Does that do anything to you?
Yeah, I like Ariana Grande. I respect her vocal ability and like her, artistry and who she is. But at the same time, like I feel like I only get to that point with that artist. Like that's it. That's all I feel from them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get anything else.
The thing about Mia that I want to not to speak for you, but just to your credit, I think is her story is very unique, like you said earlier, and I think no one really has captivated her voice yet. So Mia is the person to tell her own story, if you know what I mean. So a lot of people, when we listen to music, we like, I can relate to that guy. Okay, I'm going to listen to his record, right? Well, with Mia, I don't think any of these female artists, and there's a plethora of reasons. I'm not trying to talk any kind of down or whatever, but have fully grasped where she's coming from, the way she sees the world. I think that's the fairest way. Would you
Thank
say
you for. I'm gonna get that tattooed. That because I don't want to. I'm not trying to come off as like I know more. Right. I'm better. I just haven't felt that yet. Jessie J is probably the only person, only human being alive that has, as a female, other than my mom and my sister. No, there's no other.
When you hear Lady Gaga, what do you think about that?
I respect her. I didn't like her music. I didn't really grow up like loving Lady Gaga, but this recent stuff, this Joanne stuff, and her being in like A Star Is Born, I've understood her better.
I think a lot of people are now.
But I still feel like Jessie J is like here for me.
Interesting.
There's nobody else.
Interesting.
I love like Jhené Aiko and like Grace Potter and like all these artists, Ariana Grande, you name it, Halsey.
Right.
Like I'll listen to it.
Right.
But if you can make me feel something and I can understand you, and I feel like they would understand me if I talked to them,
right,
then I'm interested. Or I just feel inspired, not interested, because I'm interested in everybody. But I like you put it pretty well. Yeah. I just don't know.
I think a lot of it does come down to the writing, because let's think about it. If you can convey a thought in your own head right now and say, yeah, I'm just not into this or whatever, you can do that. Now, as an artist, if I can make you think about that same thought in a different way by conveying it to you with different words, now I've piqued your interest. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so for her, Jessie J is one of the artists who says things like, "Wow, that's really cool." Really cool how you said that, but it also conveys my message as well.
And you can perform live.
Yeah, how you said that too is important.
Well, exactly.
Not just what you say, how you say it.
Right, because it's easy for anybody to say, I'm the realist in the field, you don't know how to deal, like whatever. But the reality is, do you really embody that? Are you as authentic? Can you walk what you talk?
And she does.
And she does.
Thank you. Yes.
And that's what I love about Mia. She is drawn to that. She is drawn to authenticity. So Mia, as far as I know, I've had many people in my studio, Holiday House Studio, shout out. But I've had many people in my studio that I'm the best I'm the best singer, I used to be a great singer. Mia doesn't do that. Mia and I talk about the artistry, what she wants, how we're going to work together, the notes, how it makes her feel. It's not about, what I mean? Well, I did this and I did that, and materialistic this, materialistic that. Right. So as far as Mia is concerned, as far as being in a studio with someone, she's by far the most authentic artist I've ever worked with. Okay. Without a doubt. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
One last question for you. What is more impactful for you, lyrical content, the story, or the music?
It started out for me just music, because I would hear a minor chord and go to it. So if a song, if I don't really necessarily agree with the lyrics, or I don't feel something from the lyrics, but the music takes me there, I'm probably gonna listen. Okay. So I would say the music.
Okay.
Rather than even the lyrical content, because I thought about it, like when I write a melody over something, I write with the music. I don't write over the music.
Interesting.
And I've been trying to learn that from you guys, because you write over it and with it, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
They're going over the fence.
Because I go right with music.
I just can't get out of the way.
Yeah. And then they come over with this melody that has like nothing to do with music, but it fits, and I'm like, I would have sang that completely different. Like my mom's like, don't even, just wait till Kyle puts the melody. I'm like, I am, because
I mean that's what's cool about it, is that Mia is
definitely the music.
Mia knows the notes and the scales and all, and all.
Sure.
They're her and her mom would come down an octave, come down a third. And I'm over there like, come down. What's a third of what? No, but the point is it just with the art. Cal's the same way. Cal's an incredible artist. We haven't talked enough about him, but Cal is an incredible artist. He literally, check out his stuff. He's Cal Harrell, Wyatt Earp. Bottom line is the way that I think the synergy that the room has when Ma's in there with the keys and all three of us work. Right. It's something I've never seen before. And I tell these guys this all the time. I think we're very fortunate to be in this period right now.
For sure.
And I think it's our job to try and really make quality stuff that people can get behind.
Okay, a couple things. First, will you come back and see me again?
Yeah.
Yes.
All of you.
Absolutely.
I can't thank you enough for having us, honestly.
Yeah, and that way we can stay up to date, and our audience can stay up to date on everything that's going on with y'all. I need to know the ways that they can reach you.
Yeah. Social media. No, I'm kidding.
That's okay. I'm
Just
sure.
talk so much crap on it. Now I'm like, you can find me on.
412.
It's a game you gotta
It is a game. It is a game. But I'm blessed for all my followers who have stayed with me through this whole process from being
It's a necessary
13
evil,
to
right? Yeah,
no, because I have a lot of great people that I've met that I would have never met if it wasn't for Instagram and stuff. So
True.
thanks for everybody for following me and staying with me, even though I was through a period where I didn't put out any music. And we have a lot to offer coming up.
That period's over.
Yeah, it's definitely over.
They can just search Mia Z.
Mia Z, yeah. It was Mia Zanotti as well, because I was going to go by that, and then Mia Z was just like what felt right, and they were like, you're Mia Z. And I'm
It's
like,
hipper,
okay.
it's cooler.
Yeah.
And that was the original band too.
It was
So it's
Mia
like going
Z.
back to the
yeah, it was
roots.
like T-shirts with Mia Z with like 1,000 of them. I was like, you can't be Mia Zanotti now. I have all these T-shirts, and I was like, okay.
We can't afford a rebrand.
Yeah.
When the album ultimately is finished, are you going to release it? In what ways besides download? Are you thinking about doing any limited runs of vinyl or cassette or anything?
The coolest thing about working with this guy over here is he's so old school, and it's like we have hard copy albums with booklets of artwork, and we even did a little bit of lyric pages in the last one.
Awesome.
So
That's
even if we make one copy or 3 at least, like we will always have a hard copy. I don't care if people think it's dumb. Like
my mom can't listen
I
to
wanna
it,
hold
so
it.
she has to have a hard copy. She doesn't
The
have
thing
it.
is, I can't find a company right
Yeah.
now. I've been trying to get 45, so I would go the whole way.
That's very cool.
But I can't. Everybody wants me to get like print out at least 200 or 300, and at that, I don't have the cake for that right now.
Yeah. No, I mean I get it. Yeah, I totally
for the
get it.
distributors.
Yeah,
there's
right.
no one really selling
That's
too
the
many.
other problem.
We hit every record shop in the city, and they wouldn't take
45s are more-
one place took our CD, Dave's Music Mine.
They're closing.
Yeah, and they're closing.
Are they?
Oh my
He's
gosh.
the only guy on the spot that was like, yeah, I'll put your thing on the shelf.
Well,
and
thanks, Dave.
He wrote this thing on a napkin. And he's like, yeah, I'll just take $1 if
That's
it
awesome.
sells.
Yeah, he was the
Like,
coolest
that's
dude
fine.
ever.
That was really cool
And now
experience.
he's out of business.
Yeah, too cool.
He was too cool. He probably was too cool.
He let too many guys do that.
So the album is set to be done when? When's the completion date?
Well, I mean, Mia, we were talking about for
Yeah.
we're hoping for any like summer release. Is that
Okay.
still the
Yeah.
plan? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
For my like single like album release of like my music that we've been working on for me, and then we have stuff coming out, collaborations that we already have finished, and music videos with all that with Daniel Kelly. So we want to thank him for that. And
Is there a tour coming?
Yep.
You can't talk about it, can you?
Well,
That's
it's
okay.
just
That's
in
okay.
our hearts, and we're ready for it. So when it comes, it's coming.
Okay.
We're gonna
Fair enough.
manifest this
No,
tour.
we're getting our dates lined up now. We actually have a show booked in. It's gonna be out in Xander's and Plum, and basically it's April 11th, I believe, is the date.
Right before Easter.
Yeah, right before Easter.
Okay.
But basically, we have this whole year planned out. Where Mia's gonna be dropping every month. Where she's gonna have it's either a video, a single, an album, you name it. We're coming. This is because I feel at a point now where she's ready, I'm ready, he's ready, and there's no reason to not. You know what I mean? It's time to take over.
If
And
it
I
wasn't
think
for these guys, like meeting them in these past couple of months, like with lyrics and melodies and ideas and heart and soul, and like being able to open up to 2 people, I'm like beyond thankful for that. That was a dream because I would lay at night and pray for that, and it came. So thank
All
you.
right.
Mom. You're mom.
I want to thank all of you.
Guys. Yeah,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
for
This was
having
tremendous.
us.
Thank you for
This
having
Oh,
was
you're welcome
awesome.
anytime.
Thank
Definitely
you.
come back and see me.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. We are out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was very enjoyable.
That's
Good?
cool.
Was
awesome.
it comfortable? Everything
Thank you very
good?
much.
That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Is it good for you?
That was a dream come true right there.
I can't thank you enough.
You got it,
Thank you
dude.
very much.
Fingertips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down. Yeah.